There we go. Oh, hit the tweet button. Ah, that's what happens sometimes. Okay, now I figured out why sometimes stuff doesn't tweet out. Okay, cool. So good stuff there. All right. Well, hope everybody's doing great and had an awesome trading day today. So happy cool. Wednesday. So good stuff there.
Whoop, whoop.
All right, we made it. So good stuff, guys. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Tonight we're going to be continuing our series on Tesla chart patterns. And so yesterday was fun. We saw a lot on the intraday time frame, on the smaller term time frames. I think we're going to see a little bit of that again today. Ultimately because we saw a lot of chop here today, but I'll show you some pretty cool stuff that I think you guys will like. So we'll go from there. Anyway, guys, before we get started, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome. Good. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look and see where we left off with the market here today, and then we're going to take a look at the futures and see what we're up to or down here this evening, and what might be setting up going into tomorrow. And then we'll go through the topic, and then we'll take questions and chart requests. So let's get started. All right, so SPX, guys, hanging in there, right? Hanging in there. We're down 7 points today, but the month is still green. We're starting to drift a little bit under that upper Bollinger Band here, but it is what it is. Weekly chart still not in full panic mode yet, right? So we've got a weekly spinning top going on right here, and now we only have 2 trading days left in the week. So this has been a really choppy week, guys. The range of the week is only 28 points. The most recent week here that was kind of small was 43 points. So the real question is, are they going to move this thing or what? Right? So if you think about it, right, 2 weeks ago we had 48 points on the holiday week. That was a short week, right? And then last or heading into a short week, last week was a short week. It was 66 points, right? So these are kind of narrow range weeks, and it's even narrower right now. So we'll see. I see a question out there, Otas, on the CPI data and how it'll affect the market tomorrow. That's a great question. So that's what we've got coming up. So this is one of those things that is normally no big deal, right? But when there's nothing else going on, right, all the headlines and therefore the algos that read the headlines, right, are going to be jumping all over this thing. Now, what does it mean? Like, what are they going to do? The idea is, right, if we show that inflation went up, right, what that's going to do is that's going to assume, right, the algos may assume that inflation is getting out of control, and therefore the Fed needs to tighten up its policies and potentially raise rates, right? And ultimately, when you raise rates, that's not good for, well, stocks and all that stuff. But who knows? It's probably all good for it, really, honestly. Like, it just keeps on going up no matter what. So they could have raised rates the entire time, and this thing probably still would have gone up. So we'll see how that goes. All it's done is made housing more expensive, right? And but kind of dropped the payments a little bit. So kind of interesting stuff there. Now I'm just kidding. There's more involved in that, but very, very interesting stuff. So we'll see how the algos react to it, really. But we could see a bigger move, a more pronounced move than normal. If it looks like inflation is kind of kind of saying so, we might actually see a pop in the market too, right? So that's something to keep an eye on too. So anyway, ultimately we've just been going sideways, right? Since the Memorial Day weekend, we pretty much just the ADMA caught up, and now it's starting to turn flat, and we're just kind of doing the sideways thing, but narrow range. We've seen this before. We've done this before. Narrow range, and then something, right? And then so narrow range. We had a little bit of something right here, and then narrow range. So maybe something, right? So maybe that will be a catalyst to get things going. So let's take a look at the wave count. So far, I know it's crazy, but we're actually, even after the down move today, we're actually still kind of bullish on this thing. In fact, this looks like just a bearish retrace, right? So if this is our wave 1 right here, we've got our ABC wave 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, never intersected wave 1, right? And then 5, subwave 5, 1, 2 of 5, right to the 618. Right to the 618. Right here, the blue line. Right to the 618. So we very well could be. This could be 1, 2. We could see a wave 3 tomorrow, right? So maybe the CPI will be the news to trigger that and get things going. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. There's some bearish wave counts out here. We still haven't taken out the all-time highs yet, so this could be a really steep retrace wave 2, and then we could see the ultimate wave 3 down. Right, that's a possibility too. I don't want to scare anybody, but let's see. We've been kind of choppy right here, but we'll see what kind of volume comes in tomorrow. So most likely, then we're probably going to see some big moves pre-market if it does move, and then we'll see what kind of leftovers we get during the day, and then we'll hopefully have some fun on Friday. So that's kind of the idea. Other than that, guys, let's take a look at the S&P futures. See what we got going on here this evening. So we're up about 4 points right now. So that's okay. okay. That's kind of okay for the theory right there. So we'll see how that goes. We've been pretty much chopping around all night, so par for the course. But I think it's good enough here. We lost the triangle this morning. Look at that triangle. I mean, you just can't ignore the beautiful geometry of this, right? I mean, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Have a nice day. Right? I mean, once we confirm below that, it's over, right? I mean, look how it's so cool. I love that. It's one of the coolest things about trading is just that geometry, how it plays out sometimes. So really, really cool stuff. So in the meantime, we've got this guy up here, right? So I can kind of clean this up a little bit. Put that guy there. Right, so we'll see how that. Look at that. It's almost about like 4 right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, right, and then we'll see if we get maybe like a 5, and then maybe do us a 6 like the other one is breakout. That's like the new magic number here. So we're kind of a tight range right here. So we'll see how this geometric line holds going into this evening. But generally it looks okay. It could be a 1, 2, 1, 2, right? And maybe we get a wave 3, 4 retest, and then 5 into the report. So cool stuff there. Okay. Otherwise, if we break down below here, it might want to kind of test these lows. Okay, cool. So today, guys, we're going to be continuing our conversation on Tesla chart patterns. And so let's go ahead and take a look. Let's pull up Tesla here and see how things are looking. And then we're going to, guys, make sure you stay to the end because we're going to put out an idea out there, possible action name idea that may or may not show up in the bubble report tomorrow morning. So let's take a look at Tesla. So what's going on with Tesla here, guys? So pretty interesting stuff, right? So ultimately, we've got the daily chart, right? And so this is really what we've been tracking, right? We talked about this last night. And so there's 2 things that I want to point out here again. One, the zigzag, right? So remember, zigzag is a 535 Elliott wave, right? So that's what we've got, right? We've got this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that fulfills the 5 wave. And then we've got an ABC, A, B, C, right? So 5, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. What's going on here? Well, we could be in wave 5, and we talked about this yesterday, that this could be a retrace for a subwave 2 of 5, right? So 1, 2, inside day today. So today was a choppy day, right? And then 3, 4, 5. And then we'll see if we can get down here, at least test this gap and the bow and arrow support there from the old Tesla triangle. Right? So this is kind of one example too. Somebody asked me a little bit earlier today about triangles, and just real quick, guys. For Elliott wave triangles, what we really want to do is we want to get out of the triangle right before this thing can really confirm itself. A lot of times, some folks like to get in a little bit early because they're seeing that retrace in here and then trying to get in there. That's okay, right? We could try it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. What we do like is here when we get out of the triangle and then to get a retest to retest it, and that's exactly what we got here, right? So we gapped above it, pushed down for the retest, and then the next day right back gapped up, and then boom, go, and then this thing was just going, right? So now, right, we're looking at 2 different things, 2 different chart patterns here on Tesla, and one we've been talking about is the potential bear flag, right? So we got this going on. So here's your your flag pole, your flag, and so we're going to see if we can break down here. If we do, right, then we really want to see if it can take out this low right here. This is the 539.50, yeah, so 539.50 area. If we can break down below there, right, then that's pretty much taking out this trend box and giving us a fresh trend down, right, or a fresh trend line and confirming the downtrend even more. So we're definitely checking this. But if you kind of look in here too, we've actually got a bit of a rising wedge, right, over the basically just in this going into today, right? So we had this little bit of a rising wedge pattern right here, right, and so now we're starting to get this inside day. So if we take this inside day down, right, that may be the start and possibly trigger this bear flag breakdown, right? So that we're looking at that, okay? So we're generally overall kind of bearish on Tesla, right? So let's take a look. Let's take a look at the any chart patterns that we've got here today. So really, ultimately, guys, I mean, the whole day looked like a falling wedge. So that also could kind of sketch things out a little bit. That maybe we'll have a bullish day tomorrow, right? And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later too. But one of the things that we can see here is potential wolf wave, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the zone right here. And then at this, it could be kind of a part of that wave right here. So we got really flat right here. So we'll see if they can break out of this this falling wedge pattern. What else? So we talked about failed patterns yesterday, right? So what do we get here today? We had a bull flag right here. We had our first chance of a dip buy. And the cool part about it is that this was right at one of our signal zones today, right? So we did get a nice bounce off of that. So that was a good move on Tesla. And now the real question was it going to be a pause and get going, or is it going to be a failed bull flag breakout? And it was a failed breakout. We never got above it, right? So that was a failed move, worked its way back down, and then started to form some geometry down here, right? So pretty cool stuff there. And then finally into the end of the day, right, we had one more push down right here and a bit of a bear flag or a rising wedge type pattern here, right off of the signal zone in the 15 or below. pretty bearish right there, and that gave us a down move, one retrace, and then down again. So it's kind of a boring day, right? It was overall inside day choppiness, but there were some moves. There was some fake outs, right? We had the fake out bull flag right here. We had a couple upper shadows at the open to bring us down, right? This retrace right here was basically just a pure retrace. Why? Because if we really kind of get tight in here, right, we can see that this breakout just couldn't make it, right? We had the reversal doji off of that here as well. And then we had the rising wedge right here, and then it worked its way down off of the signal zone and the 15 orb low to ultimately form our two levels of interest, for tomorrow, which is the inside day high and low. So cool stuff there. All right, guys. Well, we're going to run through now. If anybody's got any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window, and we'll get through as many as we can. Try to wrap as early as possible so we can all get a good night's sleep and have another awesome trading day tomorrow. And be sure to stay to the end because I'm going to show you guys a cool stonk that may or may not be in the bubble report tomorrow as an action name idea. So cool stuff there. All right. So Shirley sent a few in via email, and this is kind of one of the best parts to tune in for too, because you guys have some really great ideas out there, and sometimes inspire others with some ideas too, and that's what I really like about it. So and I find some nice trade ideas off of that as well. So really appreciate it. So Tima, so continuing to work its way up here. Shirley, I know you asked about it this weekend. I'm not sure if we ever got to it, but again, I think we did. I think I drew this. Maybe it really does look like just kind of an upward channel right here. Just really nice stuff. So could work its way up here if it if that fails. Right, look for a pullback off of that. But nice move over the ADMA on T-Mobile. Yandex spandex. Upper shadow off of this kind of funky cup and handle-ish type pattern right here. Here's your neckline. It just failed to break out, right? So the real question is it a retest, right? And are we going to see some confirmation back up, or is that just a big upper shadow and just not so good, right? So just a little bit of caution there. NCTY, let's take a look. NCTY with a nice candle today, but watch the upper shadow at the 50-day moving average, right? So a little bit of caution off of that one. PRTY. Party City! It's party time for Party City, guys. This is a real nice move on this name. This could be kind of like a meme-related type thing, but almost a nice bull flag breakout right here. Increased volume, right? Looks pretty good. If this thing continues to work its way up, let's see if we can do a projected move, from the bottom of the flag up right here to kind of work its way up to maybe that 13, 12, 50, 13 level. So see how that goes here for Party. Nice breakout on that one. Great find. And X marks the spot. Wow, look at that one, guys. Working its way up the channel. You got to love it. Look at that. Just that nice tight range right here. A little bit of a pennant, right? Good breakout here with increased volume. This is a good name. I mean, it's been working its way up and down this channel here for a while. So good stuff there. John, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Let's take a look at SHW. Sorry, my fingers weren't listening to the brain. But we got SHW kind of drooping down right. Oh, Sherwin-Williams with the stock split, the stonk split, right? Nice move right there and ended up working its way up, right? So let's kind of keep an eye on it. Could be bull flagging here a little bit. Really droopy here today, though. Increased volume down below the ADMA, so it may want to test the bottom of the flag, which corresponds here with the 50-day moving average. So something to keep an eye on there. CMG, John, really tough name to trade. Particularly on the intraday time frame. This is one if you can put some spreads together that end up making sense, right? You can kind of look at it. But this is just a very tough name. It's hanging in here. This does look like a potential rising wedge breakdown. Right, so we did have this kind of doji reversal back under the 80 Some more volume here on the red candle would have been nice, but let's just see how it goes. It's under the 50-day, it's on the 200-day, and it's under the 80 right now. So it's kind of looking a little bit like a soggy burrito right now, right? So we got that going on. So a little bit of caution there, but the volume was a little bit low, so something to keep an eye on. ICPT, nice breakout candle on this one here over the 50-day moving average. ADMA is starting to work its way back up. It's kind of right at the cloud resistance right there, so see how that holds. But if we get some follow through the upside, maybe it'll get going. Again, I'm not a big trader of these the biotech names, but hopefully that continues to work its way up if that's what you're looking for. The next IRBT, let's take a look. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, IRBT with a pullback. Oh, I'm sorry. Alphabets sent these in via Twitter, and Shirley, I hope you're doing great out there. EVBG. Sorry, Alphabet. Sorry. I'm just going back to this. Spinning top. Wow, nice follow through on this one, guys. This was mentioned this weekend. John, I can't remember if you saw this one this weekend. Anyway, a few folks were liking this one from Alphabet's idea over the weekend, I believe. And nice move right here, right off of the golden zone for a move. Could be a potential doji sandwich up, and then wow. Wow. Woo! Okay, so it gapped below the double inside day, and then it wanted to get back through that range. So, again, next big level up now is this $18.20. Let's see if we can get over that. So, good stuff. Thanks again, Alphabets. Really appreciate it. And the next, yeah, so iRobot. Let's take a look. So, iRobot, had a big day the other day, but just couldn't get over the 50-day moving average. Couldn't get over the 50-day moving average. Inside day below, next to it, and then back down. So it's hanging onto the 200-day right now. So let's see how that holds. Trip, let's take a look. Troop with an upper shadow. Troop with an upper shadow there, but still hanging on to the 80 EMA, so that's a good thing. And then edit. Let's take a look. Edit tried today, but left you with a big upper shadow. Kind of a gravestone doji right there, just kind of face planted on the 50-day moving average right here. You kind of zoom in right here. It's got that gravestone doji right there. So just a little bit of caution there. But honestly, these gravestone dojis, as awful as it sounds, it's actually I think like a 50-50 type mover. So let's see if it turns. Let's see which way it goes. But it is a counter move from the other day. Good stuff. Really appreciate it. Otas, what's happening? Airbnb. So guys, this is one that we looked at this morning. Now this is a good example, right, of a triangle that didn't break out, right? So let me clean this up a little bit right here. Just kind of tighten that here a little bit. See if I can kind of get that in there. Oh no, there's that right there. Right. So you kind of have this A, B, kind of C, D, E type format right here. It looks like it's going to get going right here. A little bit of a retrace and then down and lost it, right? So that's the tricky part, right? There's no real entry on this one yet, right? So we haven't confirmed off of a 618 or anything, right? So now we've broken down below this geometric line right here with increased volume here on the 60-minute chart. So the real question is this going to be an undershoot and then go, or if we're looking at a different wave count, right? Because you kind of look at this 1, 2. This could be a 3, 4, 5, and this could just be like a kind of like a 1, 2 type move, and then we're kind of working on this leading diagonal, maybe a larger wave 3, right? So we just have to be careful with that. But again, like we said, we'd like to look for confirmation out of here and a retest to those levels, and then go, right? That's kind of the idea, that our ideal entry. So usually in that case, sort of like a 1, 2, 3. 382 pullback, wave 4, and then boom, wave 5. So that's kind of the ideal situation. But good stuff there. Let's see what coin. So Kathy's been loading up on this name for a while, and it has been struggling, right, Kathy Wood? And so Kathy's like, would you please get over the 80 EMA? And it's not, right? So just a little bit of caution there. We'll see if this thing can eventually go. We're still sitting in the golden zone on the 618, so we'll see how that holds there. It's up a little bit after hours, so let's see if that can get going. FireEye with a huge push back up off of the 200-day moving average. Here off of its what was it, the basically selling their company news, and so but ended up bouncing off that and finding some gap resistance right here, right? So let's see how that goes. Increased volume back into the cloud, so a little bit of caution there on FireEye. And Otas, what's going on? So how do you think CPI? Oh yeah, so we answered this one a little bit earlier. So again, it all depends on how the algos interpret it, right? So I mean, the general general theory, right, is that if the inflation is higher, right, that'll scare the market because they'll think that the Fed's going to step in and tighten policies, right? If it's down a little bit, well, I mean, who knows how they're going to interpret it, right? But they would assume that the Fed will continue to try to work to raise inflation, and the best way that they know how to do that, right, is continue to lower rates, right? So we'll see how that goes here. Maybe we'll get some negative rates, right? How cool would that be? Anyway, be wild. Good stuff with us, yeah. So we'll have to see, and again, it's going to happen pre-market. So we'll see what those futures algos decide to do tomorrow. So and then we'll see if it gives us a fresh wave or follows our wave. So good stuff there. So Krishna, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's take a look at X. Again, big move on this one, guys. I really like this name, how it's kind of working its way back up out of this pennant here and up the channel. So and good volume there today too. So really nice stuff there. STX. Oh yeah, we looked at this one yesterday. Kind of got to the top of that flag and then pulled back here a little bit here this morning. AFRM. AFRM with a rejection of the 50-day moving average back to the 80 EMA, right? So a little bit of caution there. Skills to pay the bills. Again, big upper shadow yesterday. It tried to gap up today, then upper shadow off the top of the cloud. Bark, let's take a look. Decent, good volume on this one today. Upper shadow. I think this one's up a little bit here after hours. Yeah, it's kind of grinding its way up. So it's we're basically back at the high of the day after hours. Let's see if this thing can get out of the cloud and make a move. And then finally, Unity Software, guys, looking pretty interesting. There's a couple things that you can kind of look at right here. Maybe a little bit of a sideways inverse head and shoulders, right? So that's a possibility. Here's the neckline. And it's a little bit of a stretch here for the left shoulder, right? But you can see left shoulder, body, right shoulder. Maybe a breakout here. Some volume to get out of the cloud would be nice. Other than that, it looks a little steep, but this could be a 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe we're getting a wave 5, but it could be truncated. So a little bit of caution there. So ultimately, I'd like to see you get back over this 618. Because that's corresponding right with resistance right there. So we'll see how that goes here for Unity. Otherwise, we might still get some more chop. But Kathy Wood loves this one. She was loading it on up yesterday, too. Thierry, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's take a look. You got Neo on the radar. Let's take a look. So Neo with a little bit of a bull flag breakout on this one, and then kind of back down to see if it tests the 80 EMA and how it holds. It's kind of working its way up there. Hope you're doing great out there. And then that's Fate. Let's take a look. Fate with some nice follow through the upside right here. Increased volume, upper shadow off the cloud, so a little bit of caution off of that. Muku, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Let's take a look at Lee. Lee's Kitchen, as we like to call it. So Lee's Kitchen, guys, almost moving exactly the same as XPEV that we looked at yesterday. Bearish engulfing day today. In fact, that is so nice. That is going on the bearish radar for tomorrow. Let me get Lee on there with the bearish engulfing. Great find on that one. Yeah, that's a nice bearish engulfing. Would have preferred to see a little more volume on it, but it still looks pretty good. So good stuff there. Duke, what's happening? Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're doing great. Yeah, let's take a look at Roku. Oh, and Roy, what's going on? I saw you got Roku on here too. All right, well, let's take a look at this. So a couple things that are happening with Roku, right? So similar to Tesla, the only issue is that it's wave 4 overlap the start of wave 1, right? So remember, Tesla is zigzag 5 3 5 1 2 3 4 5 ABC 1 2 3 4 with an overlap. So it could be working on kind of an ending diagonal type pattern. It also looks like a sideways head and shoulders pattern right here, right? So this is that's why I tweeted out tonight. I said line in the sand on this one because we're tight either way. This is either a 1 2 and then we're going to see a big wave 3 down, right, and then kind of finish up this wave 5 on an ending diagonal, or right we got this head and shoulders potential breakout, right? So Roku is in a key area right here, so we really need to see which way it goes on that one. And then snow, let's take a look. Snow, guys, struggling here, right? So it's basically at the bottom of this. But this is one of the ones I talked about the other day, right? I think Paul had a bullish count on this one, but I was also, this could be an ending diagonal here, to kind of finish up this this last wave. So this could have been like a wave 5 somewhere. You kind of look at this as like a 1, 2, 3, 4, ending diagonal wave 5, right? And it's kind of pushing its way down here with increasing volume. So a little bit of caution with that. It may pull back down here to support. Otherwise, right, it could be kind of, that's tough. That's a tough candle today. So watch out, it could be pulling out of that rising wedge type pattern. So a little bit of caution there. And David, what's happening? Good to see you. Let's take a look at SDC. SDC, guys, great follow through from yesterday. That was a really nice candle yesterday, and a good push to fill the gap, and then left an open gap below, which is really looking pretty interesting there. MSTR, Meestar, MicroStrategy.com with a big candle today here, guys. That is a morning star reversal. Red candle, well, I mean, not quite red right here, but real body below real body, and then a nice push to the upside right there with good volume. So let's see if that one is ready to get going. Nice find on that. And then PayPal, let's take a look. PayPal with a big upper shadow right here off of all these other levels, so I'd just be a little bit careful with this one. But it could still be working on a, kind of a butterfly type pattern. So something to keep an eye on there. Good stuff. All right, so Brett, what's happening? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Let's take a look. You got Ford on the radar. Let's take a look at Ford. So Ford is kind of grinding its way down right here. It could be a falling wedge type pattern right there, but watch that inside day, see which way it takes out on that one. Roblox, a little bit of downside follow through on this one. Again, guys, this is Paul's kind of looking at a potential wave 4 pullback on this one right here. So we did get a push to the upside. Now we're going to kind of see how this holds. I think there's multiple counts on this one, but just kind of see how this holds down here still. It could be working on still an A, B, C. We might see a little bit of a deeper retrace, so we're going to be tracking that one as well. Good stuff. Elm, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. You love the series. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Let's take a look at Amazon. So Amazon could be a possible pause day, right? So we had this kind of morning star reversal yesterday off of the bottom of the trend box and the upper trend line. Big candle yesterday with good volume, right? Kind of got a little bit of upside follow through. Hey, no problem taking profit there at the open, right? And then here, just look and see how it goes if this is a pause. If we can get over today's close tomorrow, right, we might turn into like kind of a doji sandwich type move. So let's see how that goes. Otherwise, reverse back to the upward trend line and possibly the gap below. The next, CDLX. Let's take a look. CDLX possible pause day, a little bit of an upper shadow for me to get too excited about it. Carl, what's going on? Good to see you. A long time no see. I hope you're doing great. Let's take a look at JP Morgan. Pulling back, nasty day today for the XLF. Nasty. So a lot of really working as a tailwind on or a headwind on the market today. The banks. So nasty move there on JP Morgan. Snow's looking a little bit rough. We just looked at that one. Could be coming out of a rising wedge pattern. Boeing, great resistance of the this geometric line. It hasn't even gotten really anywhere close to it yet, right? So we got a nasty pullback yesterday, and then today just some follow through. Would like to have seen more volume to get bearish on it, but it's struggling up there. And then iRobot. Let's take a look at this one. So iRobot, nasty pullback, right? So we looked at this a little bit earlier, but I didn't see how big that candle was. So pretty cool stuff there. MSTR, let's take a look. Again, here, Riot Keeper, let's see. So Mr. Just a huge candle right there. Could be a possible, in the likes of a Morningstar reversal. So see if we got a follow through there. I think we got a little bit more after hours a bit. So let's see if it gets going. So good stuff there. Oh, no, you're good. And Bullish Bearish Trades, what's going on? LMT, this is one of Paul's favorite names right now. Kind of working on this old channel right here. This could be a 1-2 pullback and getting ready for a wave 3. Apple with an inside day today, struggling with this level for whatever crazy reason. This gap resistance, old gap resistance, just has become so significant. Resistance, 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 inside day. So will it gear up enough energy today to get through it, or are we going to see just a continued reverse to the downside if we take out today's lows? We have to see on that one. Upstart with the pullback here today with increasing volume, so a little bit of caution off of that one. Yeah, I mean, just a tricky name, right? It's been a hot name for a while, but back under the 80 MA with increased volume, so a little bit of caution there as well. So good stuff there. Right, Keeper, all good. My pleasure. Yeah, so Mua, yeah, all good. The Nest, how to attach the time frames again? Sorry, I can't find the video. So attaching the time frames, guys, all you got to do is keep everything the same color, right? So you just do your color link right here. I keep everything 9. Right, and then so as long as each of these is 9, right, though you just can set your time frames here, right? So now the real trick is, how do we get this, right? So if you just have one little box right here next to the arrows, or if you even have arrows, I guess it would be next to the little push pin, right? If you just have one little box right there, you got to click on this, and then you can make the grid as big as you want to. So I've got mine just kind of going across here, so I can get most of the major time frames, so I can kind of flip through it. And just see what's going on with the stock name, right? So the other trick is, if it doesn't show up right away, is you gotta click here and this guy right here and click restore cells or maximize cells and then restore cells, and then it'll kind of like you kind of have to like force it into play on that one. Okay. Yep, that's how you do it with the arrows. One of the most commonly asked questions I get, which is pretty cool. Mommy Perez, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's take a look. You got Uber on the radar. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. So Uber. Getting tight inside day, ended up down here a little bit below the 80 MA, but it's still holding its 200, right? It could be maybe flagging right here, right? Kind of, sort of, it looks just a little bit blah, right? So let's see if we can get some volume one way or out of that range, right? The top of that flag or even the bottom, okay? And then Mohammed, what's going on? Going to see? Let's take a look at Etsy. Yeah, so Etsy, nasty pullback right there off the 200 and then back to the 8, right? So we're kind of hanging out at the 382 right now. We got a little bit of a bounce the other day off of the 618, but no real follow through, right? So a little bit of caution off of that one. And Muku, yeah, let's take a look at FSLR. Thanks. Upper shadow off the 50-day moving average, and yeah, looks like a shooting star candle right here. So a little bit of caution here. Some of the solar names are looking a little bit weak here today too. And the Nest, Ulta looked good yesterday. Tricky name, tough name to day trade, but when it moves, it moves. Ulta, yeah, looked good yesterday, but just no follow through on that. And those are tough. These are really, really tough ones, right? So you kind of get this big move, and it gives you a complete reversal off of it, right? So a lot of times what we see is if we go to the larger time frames, here, what day was this? So we had this here. So this is the 8th. Where's the 8th on here? So here. So you get this big push, right? And the one thing you'd have to do is, and I know it's tough, those daily candles can sometimes be deceiving, right? But here this looks like a 1, 2, right? And really this could be a 3, 4 type move, right? You just have to be careful, right? So one of the things we could do is, if this was the 1, 2, right, we'd like to do an extension up here, and that was already yesterday for a 1, 2, that was already at the 3.618. So it was based on the relative, 60-minute time frame, it was a little bit extended, right? So that's the only thing. It looks huge, like it's ready to go. Problem is, it wasn't a major chart pattern, it's inside day up, so it was like kind of a good trade, but in terms of follow through, it makes it a little bit trickier. Right? So you always got to look at those intraday time frames and just check your waves to see if they're making sense and if they're extended or not. So good stuff there. Mohammed, yeah, Baba with some, guys, I saw some wild call activity on this one today. Just, I don't know why. I mean, the chart looks horrible. We just broke down out of the geometric line right here with increasing volume and below the 80 MA, but there was a lot of call activity on this one. So keep an eye on it. See if they're going to buy the dip here at some point. We'll see how it goes. Maybe they were selling calls. So, Duke, what's going on? Yeah, my pleasure. And then Carl, yeah, BRQS. Let's take a look at this one. Real tight right here, inside day, right? Penny name right here. Let's even get over that 50 day and maybe get a little bit of a move. And then the Nest, what's going on? Crab batter on EVBG. Let's take a look. Could be. Yeah, it could be. You got this. Yeah, your crab or butterfly, right? Yeah, it could be working its way up right here. Let's hope that's the case. That looks great. Yeah, let's see if that goes. Again, Everbridge, you gotta love it. Reed, what's going on? I never knew how you did the arrows. I love it. Oh yeah, these arrows right here. Oh cool, yeah. We've got one in the member drive in the FAQ thing. It's funny thing. It's one of the most frequently asked questions that we get. Did you also know that you can click down here and click the arrow button, and you can make little arrows? Like if you want to point something out and stuff, that's also another arrow thing too. Anyway, cool stuff. Good stuff, Reed. I really appreciate it. Muku, yeah, my pleasure. Thanks so much. Anyway, guys, I really appreciate everybody. Why are we not talking about this? LS, what's going on? Okay, so great that you actually reminded me there. So thanks everybody for sticking in to the end. You guys got to remind me to throw out like an idea into tomorrow. So LS, we talked about Tesla at the beginning, right? So if you didn't get a chance to see it, be sure to check out the recording, which I'm going to post in the Twitter and here on YouTube in a little bit. Yeah, I know exactly. You gotta watch the beginning of it. So anyway, but speaking of Tesla, guys, this is one to keep on the radar for tomorrow. Tesla. So like I said, guys, I'm overall bearish on this thing, but this inside day could go either way. So we got a really, really tight range on this one, and it looks like it could go either way. Now I'm leaning bearish on it, but it doesn't mean it's going to go. Why? Because this is my action name setup, right? We've done that. We've talked about this a lot. What I look for is a big move like this, and then some chop, right? We got some chop here, and we got some continued chop here. So that's a lot of chop. So what I'm looking for is contraction to expansion. So really, I'm kind of looking at this pivot right here. I want to see if we can get over basically 605 with some volume, and then pretty much the inside day low, right? So let's see where we go. If it gaps tomorrow, it might invalidate it. But if we kind of chop through the evening and tomorrow, look for strength over the 605 level for a good push. Otherwise, look for a breakdown right here where we might see the signal zone below. So keep Tesla on your action name radar for tomorrow. Anyway, guys, really appreciate it. I hope everybody has an awesome evening. We'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning here on YouTube for the Good Morning Market Prep video. And until then, and of course, we'll see all our members in the bubble report and in the Discord. And until then, guys, stay healthy out there. And remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And we'll talk to you guys soon.